publisher of SportsView360.com, covering New Orleans Saints. And today I want to talk about what transpired today between the New Orleans Saints and their hated rival, the Atlanta Falcons. Saints fall by a score of 26-24 to the Atlanta Falcons. They fall to a record of 2-2. They're now at 500, while the Atlanta Falcons get to 500 as well at 2-2. For this game, I didn't really see the opening moments of the ball game. I was at church, but right after church, I getting in my vehicle. I was looking at the phone, looking at the tracker on ESPN. The score was 7-7, and I kind of like refreshed it. Then I saw 14-7. Saints took the lead. Got in the car, drove back to my crib. Cut the stream on the YouTube, the NFL live stream of the game, and like a very competitive game. I felt as though the Saints were in control of the game. It was 14-7. Atlanta got the ball back, didn't get a touchdown, but got a field goal, 14-10, and then the Orleans got the ball back. They score. Derek Carr throws an interception due to Matt Judon batting the ball down, deflecting the ball, and gets into the hands of the Atlanta defender, a linebacker. He takes it back for a touchdown. Then after that, man, it becomes a very highly competitive game. Saints, couldn't get out of their own way. And from what I gathered, I didn't see what happened, but from what I gathered from the situation, Atlanta didn't get any touchdowns to Kirk Cousins or BJ, any of their offensive players. Touchdown came from plays that the Saints gave them, from mistakes that the Saints, made that Atlanta made them pay with. Rashid Shaheed had some type of issue with the punt in the first half. He fumbled it. Atlanta got a touchdown. Kirk Cousins Derek Carr threw an interception. Atlanta picked it up, touchdown. That's what happened. But Saints should have won this game. The Saints should have won this game. This is the second straight week that the Saints have lost really close games that they had no business losing. They didn't have no business losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. Defense cost 2 turnovers, a block punt. Nick Sirianni was going for it all the time. Saints should have won that game. Same with this matchup. Kirk Cousins did not throw no touchdown passes. He was not in the end zone. That team could not get into the end zone. Their only way that they could get points was through field goals. Saints could have won this game easily, man. You cannot continue to lose these type of games. And I know the 2 touchdowns came from Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill had to leave the game with I believe like a rib injury or something like that. Something going on. He left the game, and that's when things on offense started to go haywire. A little haywire, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But in that same token, man, the Saints could have won the game. Even when the Saints are dealing with adversity, they have shown that they can win a football game. They have shown that. The problem is execution. You got to go in there and execute, man. I'm not gonna continually blame injuries for why this team is underachieving. That's not an excuse for me, because in the past, I know Sean Payton is no longer with this team, but in the past, this team has had injuries to key personnel and have won football games. Even when Drew Brees was out there, they won football games. And now that we have, Taysom Hill now, we got Dennis Allen, people want to use the injury excuse for why this team is not playing to its potential. When they have shown that they can win those games, they can rise above that and be competitive. Everything can't be perfect for this team. Everything for Derek Carr, everything is not going to be perfect for him all the time, man. He has to win those games despite will maybe be crumbling around him. He may not have. He's not going to always have a good offensive line. He's not always going to have Taysom Hill. You know, players on defense are going to get hurt today. Are going to get hurt, as we saw today with Demario Davis out, Willie Gay Jr. He went out today. Tyrann Mathieu went out today. Alontae Taylor went out. He came back in. He has to get this team to win games. Drew Brees did it all the time. And I noticed I made a comment on some of the Saints based Facebook groups about Drew Brees would have won. These are the type of games that Drew Brees would have won easily, and if he was put in this situation. And it got kind of like some mixed opinions on it. Some people felt as though Drew Brees had as many of those games similar to what Carr's going through and Dennis Allen. But to me, I disagree with that. It was not this bad with Drew Brees in these situations. It wasn't. Dennis Allen has lost just about every close game that the Saints have been in under his tenure, compared to Drew Brees and Sean Payton. The only close game that you can really give Dennis Allen credit for that he won was the game in Atlanta 2 years ago, where Jameis Winston got hurt, went to the tent, came back, let him throw a comeback last minute, and they won that game. But other than that, there has not been a lot of close games that this team has won. Real talk. And Taysom Hill cannot be your only out for play calling, in regards to play calling, in regards to how dynamic this offense can be. You have to have other options out there to help this team succeed. Everything cannot revolve around the capabilities of what Taysom Hill can do. Taysom Hill is like 34 years old now. It's going to be hard for him to keep up. It's going to be hard for him to stay healthy playing in this role that he's in right now. This is a far different role from what he played under Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael. He's playing more of a running back role with this team, running back / tight end. You have to have other options on this team to be successful, man. But other than that, man, I'm gonna keep saying this. They could have won despite not having Taysom Hill in this game. They really could have. Chris Olave was great. Rashid Shaheed, despite what occurred, he was solid. Olave had 8 catches, 87 yards. Rashid Shaheed had 8 catches, 83 yards. Alvin Kamara on the ground had 79 yards on 19 carries. He had 47 yards through the air, so he had a solid game. Alvin Kamara had a solid football game. Over 100 all-purpose yards, a touchdown a day. He has, I think, 6 touchdowns for the season. So he's solid, man. He's on the pace to have a really good season. And hopefully the season is good enough that the Saints can reconsider and decide to pay him. But we'll come to that situation at a different day. But in regards to this game, he was huge. At Derek Carr, I thought he played well down the stretch. He did what he had to do. Olave, Rashid Shaheed, everybody did what they had to do to win the game down the stretch. On defense, Paulson Adebo, to me, in my opinion, for what I saw, was picked on a lot today. He was picked on a lot today. And that's why Kirk Cousins did what he did, where he threw it down the field to the Atlanta wide receiver. I think it was Darnell Mooney, if I'm not mistaken, because he knew Paulson Adebo would have panicked and cause a penalty. And that's what happened. And then the referee is going to call that all the time, man. They're going to call that pass, that play, that penalty all the time once they see that. Once they start seeing defenders mess with a wide receiver's arm like that, they're going to throw a flag all the time. And that's what happened. Young Colt, I think that's his name, Atlanta Falcons field goal kicker. I knew he was going to make it. I believe before, but prior to today, his longest was like a 53 yarder, I think. 53, 55 yarder. And today, it was a 58 yarder. He made a 58-yard field goal, seals it for the Falcons to get the win. It improved to 2-2 on the year. Saints are 2-2 as well. Now, for me, from what I gathered from this game, I still think the Saints are a good football team, in my opinion. I still do. It's just that they got to go out there and execute. They got to stop making the mistakes, man. It's not like the Saints are a young football team making these mistakes, man. This is a veteran team, one of the oldest rosters in the NFL, and you out here making mistakes like that, which you made today. Execution has been bad. You know, the offense, like I said, the offense should not fall apart. It should not regress if Taysom Hill is not in the game. You should have other options, other go-tos if that has to occur, what's to occur. You know what I'm saying? So got to go back to the drawing board, man. Draw back to the drawing board, fix the situation, fix what you can fix, and go from there. In regards to the rest of the NFC South, Tampa Bay looks really good. Tampa Bay looks really good. They blowed out a team that we had issues with last week, the Philadelphia Eagles. Carolina looks like a better football team. Even though they lost today, it was a close game, but they look like a better football team compared to what happened to they were with Bryce Young. Unfortunately, it sucks for Bryce Young though. Now, to me, I always thought, and I've said this in the past, that if you can go 2-3 during this stretch, I think you're in good shape. Because a lot of people are already chalking up at Kansas City as a loss. So you're 2-3, like I predicted you would be. I felt as though you was going to be. You know, 2-3, going to Tampa Bay, taking on to host Tampa Bay after you play Kansas City. You got that's where you got to get on the run at. You got to get on the roll at. Because you play Tampa Bay, Denver game. That Denver game, to me, based on what I'm seeing, that Denver game is no longer a slam dunk win for the Saints. And that's with Sean Payton coming back now. Denver's defense is legit and could give the Saints some problems. If they're going to look like the way they look in these last couple of games. Excuse me. They just are. You know what I'm saying? But you got they got time to fix it, man. 2-3, I think, is a good spot for this team. 2-3. Just be glad that you won the 2 games that you won. Because imagine if Andy Dalton had started in week 1 against the Saints compared over Bryce Young. Imagine how bad that would have been. For real. You got the win over Dallas. That's good. But these 2 losses you lose to back-to-back. You lose back-to-back games to NFC opponents. You lose to Philadelphia. You lose to the Falcons. Down the road in the future, that could hurt you because you fight for a playoff spot with one of these teams, they're going to have the tiebreaker over you. That's if you have the same record. You know, so I thought Philadelphia had turned that season around after they beat the Saints last week, but look like they're back to square one where they got blown out today by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And maybe the Buccaneers may be better than what I thought they were going to be. You know? Blow them out. Then you, Philadelphia, you know, if Philadelphia don't win the NFC East, but they have an identical record as the Saints, they win the tiebreaker over you for a wild card spot. So this is where it could hurt you down the stretch. As we saw this happen last year, where the Saints lost to Green Bay. That one loss to Green Bay, it was even though it was a few other losses add to it, but that loss to Green Bay really hurt you for a wild card spot. You know, so this team has to find a way to cut down on the mistakes. Have different game plans, different play calling that doesn't hinge on having Taysom Hill's presence in the game and still function. Because it's the second week in a row that this team has, kind of, I would say, looked shell-shocked for a brief moment until they could get themselves together when Taysom Hill's not in the game. This is for the second straight week. So up next, a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that continues to find ways to win, even though they have shown that they are beatable. Teams, they have found a way to, when it matters the most, to put it all together. Something that the Saints struggle with doing. And things don't look good. Look, I know Derek Carr is not Patrick Mahomes. I get that. But Patrick Mahomes, everything don't flow, everything ain't running perfectly for him. Isaiah Pacheco out. I think his best receiver today, Rashee Rice, went out with a gruesome injury. They kept moving right along. Won the day by a score of 17-10 over the Chargers. So you really just can't use that as an excuse. So we'll talk about that at a later date. Chiefs game, let's start breaking that one down. But Saints lose another close one to the Atlanta Falcons, division rival, second straight week that they have lost to a division opponent, a non-division opponent, a NFC opponent, which could have severe consequences down the stretch when you're looking at playoff implications. So we'll see how that's all gonna play out down the road. So that's it. All right, so I'll for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. What are your thoughts on today's matchup? And I'll be back in the later throughout the week with some more content. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.